Hello everyone, welcome to a briefing for the 30th of March on a quarter two events forecast for 2021. My name is Aaron Kunaraja and I'm a senior analyst here at Riskline. Riskline is a travel risk intelligence company. We provide country and city risk assessments and real-time alert messaging to fulfill duty of care requirements before and during travel. Trusted by global travel management companies, small businesses, and everyone in between, Riskline operates as a geographically distributed team in over 15 countries and across 11 different time zones. Before I begin this presentation, here's a brief background about myself. I studied political science and international relations up to the master's level. I joined Riskline in February 2015, and my areas of expertise include Southeast Asia, East Asia, and general travel safety issues. Now, the first 3 months of 2021 have been incredibly turbulent. As COVID-19 continues to plague the world, several other major incidents have occurred, including the military coup in Myanmar and the storming of the US Capitol building. In this forecast, we highlight some of the key events to look out for in quarter two. The first one would be the resumption of anti-government protests in Algeria. On 22nd February, thousands of people rallied in Algiers and other cities to mark the 2-year anniversary of the protest movement, known locally as the Hirak, to reiterate their demands for a complete overhaul of the political system in a country where the military has dominated politics since independence from France in 1962. The peaceful protests led to the resignation of then President Abdelaziz Bouteflika in April 2019, but was suspended in March 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The current government of President Abdelmadjid Tebboune, who was elected in December 2019, lacks a clear strategy to overcome the political and economic challenges facing Algeria, and has instead implemented a series of political reforms and attempted to appease the Hirak, while simultaneously cracking down on media outlets and dissent. Protests have continued on a weekly basis since 22nd February and are likely to persist and escalate in the next few months despite the COVID-19 pandemic, as the positions of the Hirak and the government appear to be fundamentally different. Major state election cycles in India. Tightly contested legislative assembly elections, which started on 27 March, will take place through April across Assam, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and West Bengal states, as well as the Union Territory of Puducherry in India. In Assam, the center-ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, or the BJP, will face a strong challenge from the regional Assam Gana Parishad Party and the Congress AIUDF alliance. One of the toughest election battles is expected in West Bengal, where the BJP has made unprecedented headway as the opposition against the regional Trinamool Congress Party, which has ruled undeterred since 2011. Tensions have always remained high between rival parties during election season and are likely to be exacerbated this year due to the high stakes involved. Statewide disruptions to travel and services are expected, including heightened security measures near polling stations, party offices, government buildings, transportation hubs, and any electoral infrastructure. Campaign rallies frequently block roads and disrupt traffic. Violent clashes between rival party members are also very common in both urban and rural areas. Public and private transportation remains limited during election days. Moving on, the start of the Atlantic hurricane season. The Atlantic hurricane season officially begins on 1st June, but due to climate change, it will begin earlier every year and more intense storms will occur with greater frequency. The severity of these weather events will impact the United States, the Caribbean nations, and Central America the most. Urbanized coastal areas built for once-in-a-century weather events will increasingly be hammered by severe weather every few years, necessitating major infrastructure investments to reduce their impact. While the cost of weatherizing affected communities will be high, economic losses generated by dangerous storms have the potential to run much higher. Politically, the impact of major hurricanes in the hemisphere will drive displacement in less developed nations, causing economic and social instability. Displacement drives increased migration to the US, an issue that has become a third rail in domestic politics there. Due to this, the US government has identified stemming the root causes of migration in Central America, including the amelioration of climate change, as a key policy priority. Moving on, the Ethiopian general elections were postponed from the initial date of 29 August 2020 due to COVID-19. However, the postponement then contributed heavily to a rift between Addis Ababa and the Tigray People's Liberation Front, or TPLF, which in turn sparked into the ongoing conflict in the Tigray region. In late December 2020, the National Election Board of Ethiopia announced that general elections would be held on 5th June 2021 across all regions except Tigray, before the situation in other areas such as Amhara deteriorates further. Some 47 parties registered candidates for the 540-seat federal parliament and regional council, with a record 125 independent candidates. However, concerns have been voiced by candidates nationwide that the security situation across many states will compromise voter registration and campaign outreach. Incumbent Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's Prosperity Party will be challenged by a coalition of opposition parties made up of the Oromo Federalist Congress, the Oromo Liberation Front, and the Oromo Nationalist Party, who are expected to present a solid challenge to the PM and the ruling Prosperity Party. Finally, it's the UEFA European Championships. Starting on 11 June and finishing on 11 July, and to be held across 11 countries, this will be the first major international sporting tournament with spectators since the start of the pandemic. Crowds at matches will be capped, and there will be a COVID-19 safety precautions for fans attending, such as mandatory face masks and temperature checks. However, both sanctioned and unsanctioned gatherings of fans away from stadiums may cause COVID-19 outbreaks. In the last year, restrictions on mass gatherings have not stopped fans gathering during important matches. Aside from COVID-19, there are other risks related to the tournament. In recent years, several football matches in Europe have been targeted by terrorists, such as the France versus Germany match during the Paris attacks of 2015. There may also be fan-related disorder in city centers on days when a nation's team is playing. During the 2016 edition of the tournament in France, several French cities were marred by fan violence. For example, Trafalgar Square in London should be avoided on days that England are playing, particularly on 17 June when they play Scotland. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to learn more about Riskline or schedule a demo of our travel risk intelligence solutions, get in touch via contact@riskline.com or visit us at riskline.com.